How would you like to see a debate between two of the brightest minds in crypto, Charles Hoskinson of Cardano versus Richard Hart, the GOAT of Hex? So stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get right onto this one. So shout out to Havid Hex, right? She really wanted to see this debate, so she put it on Bitboy, and Bitboy addressed it on his live. So he said, update on the Richard Hart versus Charles Hoskinson debate. So he would be happy, him, Bitboy Crypto, to host this. But unfortunately, Charles replied almost straight away, and this is what he had to say about it. He says, what's the purpose of this interview, right? First. Second, Richard Hart has already repeatedly, publicly insulted Cardano and me, Charles Hoskinson. I don't see any value in a debate or a conversation with Richard Hart at this point. And Richard chimes in. This is what he replied. Hey, he says to IOHA Charles, I raised $30 million for longevity research. Richard, this $30 million is probably part of what everybody else sacrificed. You didn't raise it. It's somebody else's money. OPP, homie. Other people. All right. Now, Richard says, I never insulted you, Charles Hoskinson. That I remember. And I also liked what I saw you did, in Washington. If you remember, Charles Hoskinson went to Washington this year and spoke to regulators and, all of these top guys in the government, pretty much, to trying to get sit down with them and say, hey, how can you regulate us in crypto? And he pretty much bridged the gap, and he opened the doors for conversation between the crypto world and the microeconomic world, the government world that really doesn't really like crypto, and they don't really rock with crypto like that. So yeah, Richard really liked that, and he said that we agree on most things, I guess. So I'm guessing Richard Hart and Charles Hoskinson have a lot more in common than they don't. So, which is pretty cool, pretty dope. These are two giants in crypto, two personalities that are heavy. Everybody would love to see that debate. Me personally, I'm not interested in this debate, bro. I like, them two coming together and building something great. How about that? How about post-chain launching Richard Hart, and then building something nice where Cardano and their people can come over to Postchain? How about that? Postchain people are still waiting for Postchain to launch. Focus on that, work on that instead of trying to debate everybody else, trying to get them to kneel and bow down to you. I don't know. It's just an ego thing with Richard Hart, bro. It's gonna be extremely difficult for this kind of stuff to happen. But my take on this is I do not want to see any more debate between Richard Hart and anybody else. Yesterday or some other day, I seen him trying to jump on a Twitter space with Elon Musk, and Kim.com wind up kicking Richard Hart out because apparently Elon whispered to Kim.com, hey, I don't like this Richard Hart dude. I don't like the way he dressed. I don't like how he moves. I don't like the way he sounds. None of that stuff. Get him out of here. And they wind up kicking Richard Hart outside of that Twitter space because it's Richard's attitude, bro. Come on. Bring back the old Richard Hart with the top hat and the Hex t-shirt and that right there, that calm Richard, the guy who built that 10,000x Hex, bring him back. All of this extra stuff that he's doing, it's just wearing down on him. But see, now nobody want to build with you. Elon Musk is kicking you out of Twitter space. Charles Hoskinson doesn't want to speak to you. We haven't seen Vitalik even mention you. It's just crazy, bro. Richard Hart, clean up your act, and maybe there would be a debate or sit down of a course. And here's the thing about post-chain and post-X, right? I'm gonna give you the example of Cardano, for example. Back in 2019, everybody was laughing at Cardano. Vaporware, who cares? They will never come out with anything. You know what Charles was doing back then in the middle of a bear market? And I remember this vividly. And every time he has a live show, I go click, buy more ADA. 4 cents, 8 cents, 6 cents, 7 cents, doesn't really matter because he always boosted people's confidence. Charles will get on a live once a week in the middle of a bear market, and he would say, hey guys, this is what we did today with Cardano. We ran into a brick wall, and this is the bug we encountered. And he explained every single detail that went on between the developers and how they were trying to build Shelly. This is in the Byron stages, and I remember this vividly. And I started watching Charles Hoskinson's videos. This is what he was doing, bro. He wasn't wearing no Gucci stuff, Doji Gabbana, no none of that. We didn't see him on no Lambo, no none of that. It was Charles with the same T-shirt he's wearing now as a billionaire. Same T-shirt. He will come on a live show, humble as he gets, comes and jokes around, talks about his personal life sometimes, hey, my dad is doing this, and my brother is building such and such, and this is what we're doing, and yada yada. And then he gets straight to the point. Shelly, this is the roadmap, this is what we're going to do, explain X, Y, and Z, and update the people each and every single week. As a founder, this is how you move, bro, because people are waiting on post chain. No one knows what's going on with Pulse Chain and Pulse X. Some people out there contemplating that this will never come out, Pulse Chain and Pulse X, and that's really scary. And on top of that, you have your influencers with hacks, getting SEC letters, signing petitions to help them with their lawyer fees and all of that. You raising $30 million charities and all this other stuff. You can't even help your influencers pay for the SEC lawyer fees. Like, come on, Richard Hart, what's going on? I'm just stating the facts over here. You gotta come correct now. You're working in and out of these Gucci stores, trying to avoid paying taxes, or I don't know what's going on, and your influencers are out there struggling. That's not right to me. And I don't think Richard Hart, would get like an SEC lawyer letter or whatever, because he used the word sacrifice phase. So basically people gave away their money for free, and he was very smart. He's a well calculated guy, very smart, sharp dude, Richard Hart up here. So I don't think they're going to come after him anytime soon. That's why you haven't heard SEC letters or nothing coming towards Richard, and we wouldn't wish that, because he's the top dog, and a lot of people are looking towards him when it comes to richness and just financial freedom. And he achieved it with a 10,000x cryptocurrency that even outperformed Cardano, I must admit, from a Cardano guy. We did 150x. I'm happy with what I got. Cardano went from 2 cents all the way up to $3.10. That is absolutely impressive. Hex outperformed all of that by doing a 10,000x. If you held it between 2019 and 2021, 2 years or less, he done it. He achieved it. Many people, thousands of people got rich because of Richard Hart, and you cannot forget that when it comes to you just looking at him doing all of this bookie stuff. How he moves. How he moves on Twitter, boy. He's always out there wearing all kinds of crazy stuff. But yeah, people are chiming in, and Bitboy followed up by saying, I think this is a time when the biggest thought leaders of our space need to set up, whatever people think about hacks. Richard Hart has consistently raised valid points about the dangers of centralization. Richard Hart always, he doesn't like centralization, rightfully so. He saved a lot of people, when it comes to the Celsiuses and the Terra Lunas, not by, he popularized the phrase, not your keys, not your crypto, which is really cool. Shout out to Richard Hart for doing that. He popularized that thing, by trying to save people, by just, using Hex. Hex APYs are way better than Luna and Celsius. So I don't know why people was silly enough, they could have just leave their money into Hex, and they would have been Gucci, because you hold your own keys, you stake your Hex, you unstake your Hex, you do all of that without Richard Hart interfering with your money, pretty much. So yeah, I guess that's a cool thing Richard Hart was doing by raising awareness. But for me, he's just going about it the wrong way. You don't see Vitalik and them moving like that. You don't see Charles Hoskinson and them moving like that. But I get it. It's frustrating to create a 10,000x altcoin that outperform everything else, and you're being gatekept everywhere else, pretty much. CZ allegedly of Binance have been gatekeeping Richard Hart for many years, because I don't know, that's his own reason. Richard might have said something CZ didn't like years ago. That is the reason why Hex is not properly ranked on Coin Market Cap. There's a lot of stuff that you done said now, Richard. You could have made a man, build bridges, man, instead of coming at these top dogs. Like, and Richard doesn't just do it. If he was doing it to regular people like us, who cares? But Richard does it to like the top dogs in crypto, man. Who wants to fight CZ of Binance after the even after the FTX stuff? Who wants to, ruffle feathers with Charles Hoskinson of Cardano? Who wants to fight Vitalik? These have been the top G's of crypto for the past few years. But in Richard Hart's mind, everybody have to kneel and everyone have to bow down because he created the product, he says, because he cracked the code. He understood, Richard Hart, that most people pretty much are in crypto to make money. So he created the product that makes them money. And he succeeded at that. But that should not give him the, hate go to just say everybody else kneel and bow because I cracked the code, or your project is trash and your project is trash. No, it's not. Cardano still performed. Ethereum, you could argue, that still performed. Even Bitcoin performed. It's not just Hex. They might have performed a lot less than what Hex did, but they still did something. Even Litecoin gives you new all-time highs every 4 years. No one cares about Litecoin, but it still performed. That's just is what it is when it comes to crypto and all these other cryptocurrencies. So you can't just say it's Hex or nothing. It's the best altcoin and period, and shut it. Instead of doing that, take a different angle. Come at Charles and say, hey Charles, I'm struggling with post-chain and post-Hex. What do your devs think about X, Y, and Z? And Charles will say, hey, you might want to take the standard UTXO model and blah, blah, blah. And you two talk, start deving. I'm guarantee you the Cardano developers and the post-chain developers, you put them together, post-chain and post-Hex can come out in no time. Charles will be happy to help with that, I'm sure. And who knows, one day you might see that bridge where people can be bridging from Cardano coming into post-chain and post-Hex, and it'll be a beautiful thing, man. And both of those projects can actually take down Ethereum, since everybody wants to everybody's gunning for that number 2 spot for Ethereum, right? And I have yet to see, I've been in crypto 5 years, I've yet to see somebody take over Ethereum. Ironically, the only coin that took Ethereum narrowly became the second largest crypto by market cap of XRP. XRP briefly did it back in 2018 when they had that brief run up from 2 cents all the way up to $3. January of 2018, XRP briefly became the second largest cryptocurrency by market cap, and it was a dope thing to see, man. So Charles followed up by saying there is no convo. He threw the mud at me and Cardano, and there's literally no reason to engage. So Bitboy replied, yeah, fair enough, Charles. I respect you enough to leave it alone now. You don't want to debate. That's cool. I would say that though, that there were times in my career, early career, when I threw the mud at you too. It was just immaturity and misunderstanding, that the space, honestly, there was a lot of, smaller YouTubers. Bitboy, as a smaller YouTuber, used to criticize Cardano and Hoskinson, I guess. Everybody was laughing at Cardano back then, bro. This was Byron stages before even Shelly launched. But what Charles did was he dismissed that. He just kept on walking and walking and walking. And to me, that's how Richard Hart should be moving, bro. Move like that, Richard. Focus on post-chain and post-Hex right now. People don't care about you winning debates with Cardano. People don't care about you winning debates with the Bitcoin maxis and all this other stuff. You've been beating on them for many, many years. No one can stand in front of Richard Hart when it comes to debate. I'll put my money on Charles Hoskinson, bro. Charles can talk. He can debate. Trust me. But right now, it's just not your ammo right now, bro. You have SECs coming after your influencers from this angle, and on the other angle, you're not moving right. Gucci, you're wearing all kinds of stuff. Cut it out, Richard, man. start deving, get your developers to bring Pulse Chain out and Pulse X out so people can make a ton load of money with yet again another bull market, people riding with Richard Hart, and they made a ton load of money. That is the most important thing Richard Hart should be focusing on right now, instead of trying to jumping on Twitter spaces with Elon Musk and people who don't like you, or they don't really rock with you like that, and you're always trying to poke, trying to crack that door, saying one way or the other they can't gatekeep me forever. But maybe you just focus on walking, and then the universe will pay you back what you did. And to me, this is how Richard Hart should move. With that being said, what are your thoughts on the debate between Charles Hoskinson and Richard Hart? Let me know in the comment section below. Would you want to see it, or you want him to bring out Pulse Chain and Pulse X right now? Like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.